Round 2, NDP member Mathew Green has one last question for Chrystia Freeland. Mr. Green wants to know who made the decisions to freeze bank accounts when the Emergency Act was invoked. This question period is followed by an interview on the heated exchange and his thoughts on the intense interaction. Here's the clip.
Green.
Minister of Finance, ultimately the buck stops with you, Madam Minister. You, in your testimony, I think let it slip. You said that the RCMP instructed, and then you said consulted with the banks on which accounts to freeze. So whom would have made the decision? Would it have been the RCMP or the banks?
I was clear that there were two routes. Under the order, the banks, using their internal processes, acted so as to be certain that they were complying with the order. The order also permitted the RCMP to communicate directly with the banks and to share with them information, comply with the order.
Were any of the accounts linked to ideologically motivated violent extremist groups?
Again, it was not the job of the Department of Finance to be involved in choosing which accounts should be frozen or not frozen. That's a very important point, and I want to lean in hard on that particular point.
You can lean as much as you want. Did you receive a debrief?
Mr. Green, your time is up.
Special guest is the ethics critic for the NDP, Mathew Green, who we just featured there. Great to have all of you here. Mr. Green, I want to start with you because there's calls for Marco Mendicino to resign because allegedly, according to the opposition, the Conservatives, he's misled Parliament. Do you believe that you who voted for the Emergencies Act were misled by Minister Mendicino or others who have said we've acted on the advice of police and police told us to invoke the act and so we did? Do you believe you've been misled or Parliament's been misled?
No, I mean, at this point, they're splitting hairs. It feels like a diversion from what I think is the Conservative Party's culpability in this, but it should be noted that the minister, and in fact all ministers who've been present at committee, have refused to be forthcoming with very basic information, and that is a significant and serious cause for alarm.
Okay, but do you feel then that the NDP were led down the path? Like here you are, you voted for the Emergencies Act, you thought it met the threshold, and have you got any evidence from Minister Mendicino, Minister Blair, Minister Freeland? Have they given you any transparent information that you can confidently tell Canadians, yes, they met the threshold to invoke the Emergencies Act?
I mean, we confirmed the Emergencies Act after it was invoked, having witnessed and experienced, quite frankly, what thousands of people in Ottawa had experienced and based on information that was made publicly available. I will say, though, that no, this government has not, I think, adequately pleaded its case to the Canadian public, regardless of what side of the issue you're on, with just the basic information. We had a finance minister who couldn't quote any specific economic impacts when even the city of Ottawa came forward with some numbers. It's quite concerning, quite frankly, given the seriousness of this, the historic nature of it, the special composition of the committee, that time and time again, witness after witness, they just refuse to provide even basic information.
Let me bring you Stephanie Levitt. You believe this? We don't have any notes. Is this going to undermine credibility, which would raise the question that you don't believe them, but does it raise the question, how are you going to get a credibility, accountability from a government that you support?
Well, listen, the confidence and supply agreement is something else. What we're talking about right now is the Emergency Act Review Committee. I think anybody who's watching it knows that I'm doing a good job holding this government to account. We have unlimited parliamentary powers to send for documents, people, and evidence. That is established in jurisprudence. We have legal opinion to that fact. We will be using every single tool that we have available to ensure that this government provides with candor and clarity the information that our committee was constructed to
But you don't believe it. I just want to be clear. When you say there's no notes, are you saying that they're lying, that they actually have notes, or that the staff?
No, it's unbelievable,
Okay,
Evan. It's unbelievable. And when I hear the minister say he himself personally didn't take notes, that's fine. But I can't believe that in that room they didn't have senior staffers taking notes. And so what we need to do is get a hold of the notes. Clearly, the ministers who were present had a binder full of notes. So let's start there. Let's get to the information and let's find out exactly what they knew, when they knew it, and what they did about it.
Steph,